what are these Cyclone stud configurations, and why is Nike and some other brands starting to incorporate them into their sole plates? Well, we actually first saw this introduction of the Cyclone sole plate in the Phantom Luna that came out a couple years ago. Now, if you go on Nike's website, they claim that the use of this Cyclone configuration is to help you plan and pivot your feet with speed when you're playing a match. And with that marketing angle, Nike also made some vague claims regarding injury prevention on the Lunas, stating that the Cyclone stud pattern could potentially help reduce the ACL tears that we see in women's football very often. The only thing is, Nike never really presented much evidence to support that claim, and when you look at the studs themselves, it doesn't really seem to make sense. Now, the bladed studs in this Cyclone pattern are very sharp, and they're going to give you a ton of traction on an FG pitch. But the truth is, a ton of traction really just stops you from slipping and will help you make slightly sharper turns, but it does not necessarily improve safety. And that's why traction is always a trade-off when it comes to football boots, because the more traction you have, the less likely you will be to slip, but at the same time, the more force it's going to put on your ankle, knees, hips, and all your joints throughout your body. And what I find to be one of the funniest claims about this Cyclone stud pattern is that Nike puts such a great emphasis on these helping your performance, but when you watch professional players play in the Phantoms, they're almost never wearing the FG version that comes with this Cyclone stud pattern. Instead, they're going to be using the soft ground version more often than not that has a more simple configuration, just with longer rounded metal studs. And then for players who more often find themselves on artificial grass, this FG pattern with the Cyclone studs is even more of an inconvenience. They really just offer way too much traction at the front of the foot, and they could be at risk of getting stuck in that synthetic surface. And for that reason, the artificial grass version of the Phantoms, in my opinion, is going to be a better option for most players. And honestly, I feel that the inclusion of the Cyclone stud pattern is really just Nike changing things for the sake of changing things, and it does more for the aesthetics of the boots than anything else. I think they could have been better off staying with just simple chevron or tri-star shaped studs for the FG version.